Today's album is Paul Pena's New Train. This is Paul's second album. It unfortunately didn't come out for 27 years after it had been recorded. Recorded in 1973, produced by Ben Sidran, who was the keyboard player for Steve Miller. It was recorded at Intermedia Sound in Boston, and then had some overdubbing and other things in other studios, particularly the Wally Heider studio in San Francisco, which is a very famous place. It's had albums recorded there by Crosby, Stills, Nash, the Grateful Dead, Jefferson Starship, and quite a host of other bands. Pretty famous studio. One nice thing about it is Jerry Garcia used to hang around there. And so there's 2 tracks on here that have Jerry Garcia and Merle Saunders. Those tracks are New Train, and Jerry's playing pedal steel, by the way. He's not playing your standard lead guitar as he would in the Dead. And also Venetian Lady. And Venetian Lady actually kind of resembles the groove of Bertha, and that's where the resemblance ends, and the fact that Jerry's on it. After that, it's a completely different song. It's definitely Paul's baby. On here, we've got just stellar tracks in songs like Gonna Move, which was covered for years by Susan Tedeschi, and now I believe the Tedeschi Trucks Band does it on a regular basis. Very upbeat song. In my opinion, it probably would have broken Paul into the mainstream had the album come out as it was supposed to. New Train, beautiful soul track. Jet Airliner, the original version of Steve Miller's 1977 hit, was on this record. And of course, Steve found it when Ben, Steve's keyboardist, played it to him. Said, hey, check out this album that looks like it's never coming out, and listen to this track. And the rest is history. Wait on What You Want, very upbeat track. Love that. Cosmic Mirror, very Jimi Hendrix inspired improvisational piece. They just happened to turn on the recording while they were jamming in the studio before some other song was getting recorded. And so completely unrehearsed and improvised, it ended up on the album. It's a pretty good track, actually. Let's Move and Groove Together. Beautiful soul ballad, written by Johnny Nash. That's a good one. That would have gotten some airplay too, I think. Indian Boy has a nice gallop to it and a nice message. A bit of All Right, just wonderful. One of those toe tappers, really, that was supposed to originally end the album. And then it's capped off on here with the song Taking Your Love Down. Now, there's some interesting things about that song. Wasn't supposed to be on the album initially, but hey, it was left over, and when else is the album going to come out? And so they put it on the end here, and it's a very nice track, I think. I'm a little confused about who wrote it, though, and that confusion stems from going into the liner notes on here. And by the way, check out, they've got another cover. This is kind of a 2-cover CD, which, by the way, has never come out on vinyl. It might be something nice to see on a record store day, just saying, anybody out there that's got a label. But Taking Your Love Down, in here, it says, all songs written by Paul Pena, except Let's Move and Groove Together, that's the Johnny Nash, and Bringing My Love Down, which is not the name of a song on here. However, that does closely resemble Taking Your Love Down. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the title of the song. And it says here, Bringing My Love Down was written by Jim Pena, who was a relative of Paul's. I'm not exactly sure of the relation. However, I should know this, as a matter of fact. I'm kind of embarrassed that I don't know who Jim Pena is. However, that's who Bringing My Love Down is credited to. So I'm thinking, well, this was the outtake, and it was only recently mixed. So maybe there was a little bit of confusion about what it was supposed to be called when the liner notes were being created. So that could very well be the second cover song on this album. In any case, it's a beautiful track. Many of these are radio-friendly tracks. Practically the entire album could have found its way onto an FM or AM station. I really think Gonna Move would have broken Paul It's really too bad that nobody heard Jet Airliner at that time. And by the way, I bought this back right when the album was initially released. There's my ticket stub for the House of Blues, seeing Paul in June of 2001. Such a lovely album. If you've heard the first one but not this one, you owe it to yourself to hear this, to go find it on YouTube or whatever you have to do. I know that even this one now is a little bit on the out of print side. I just bought one for one of my own relatives, and it set me back $30 for a used copy. Like I say, anybody that's got a record label, a little boutique label or something, this might be something you'd want to look at for a record store day release, because it's never been released on vinyl and it's got historical significance. And pretty much everybody that I know that's heard this record likes it or even loves it. And just to kind of dot the I's and cross the T's, I want to mention a couple other releases. One is an MP3 only album, I believe, that Paul did. It was a live one with the blues singer Big Bones. I believe Big Bones is the marquee artist on that release. If you go and search for Big Bones on the internet, you should find the album for sale. That's how I got it. And the other thing of significant note, Genghis Blues, the documentary that came out in the mid-90s. This is all about Paul traveling with an entourage to the mid-Asian country of Tuva to participate in a throat singing competition. It's very hard. I can't do it. But the idea is you've got the low note and then you've got harmonics on top of it that you can move around and sing a little song with the harmonics. Very difficult. Well, Paul won his division in this competition. He was the winner. So I just wanted to give New Train a shout out. And if you haven't heard it, you should go listen to it. I bet you'd like it if you like his first album. And if you have any thoughts, comments on this record, experience with Paul, anything like that, please leave it down below. And if you wouldn't mind giving this a like and perhaps subscribing, that would be much appreciated. All right, folks, till later. Take care.